What's up, guys? I'm finally back. Long story short, had to take a little bit of a break from making content because I was super busy with work, and then shop championships kept me busy as well. That's a bit of a longer story, made you whatever. Anyway, I'm finally back. I'm finally making content again, and today I've got a new deck profile for you guys. This is one I just went took first place with at locals. It was only a 6-player local, so I don't expect too much out of it. But pretty much at the end of round 2, I was the only undefeated. And then we ran the third round just because I wanted to have one more game, just for the fun of it. So, but this is the deck I used. No changes at all so far. There are a few changes I will make going forward with the deck, but I'll get to those when we get there. Without further ado, though, let's hop on over to the tabletop view, and let's break this down. See you guys there. Alright, we're here at the tabletop view now, so let's break this down. But first off, let's take a minute to appreciate this lovely playmat that I have here. My girl, one of my favorite VTubers of all time, Apricot, aka Fruit. Okay, moment's over. So, obviously, we're going to break down the eggs first. We're running 4 copies of Demi Merriman. This is one of the best eggs you can run with this deck. This is a 3 Musketeer deck. I should have mentioned that earlier. But yeah, this is 3 Musketeers. And this is just such a good card for this archetype. A case can be made that you could run Sunomon instead. In fact, the 5th egg is probably what I'll be changing that to. But for now, Demi Merriman, on deletion, draw 1, trash 1. You want to have enough. You want your stuff in the trash to make your Battlestar cheaper. So this card is amazing for that reason alone. The 5th egg I was running today, well, at the moment, is 1 copy of the starter deck Pagu. This will be changed to either Sunomon or the bt6 Pagumon. For the moment, though, it has been putting in a good amount of work, just on deletion, middle of the top 2. You do want enough stuff in your drop for when you do your Bielstarmon, when you do your Zwarts, when you do your Bielsman play. So, this helps out with that. And that's the only eggs I run. Like, obviously, that's the 5 eggs. So, moving forward, let's go on to the rookies of the deck. Make sure you scout them all, just those for now. Starting off, we have 4 copies of Soundbirdmon. This card is amazing in this deck because you're using so many big options and big Digimon that you need the extra memory. What it does is that when attacking, you can discard 1 option card from your hand to gain extra memory. And only one case was probably going to die on that swing anyway, which is why it pairs well with the Demi Merrimons and the Pagu. But what you can do is you can discard extra copies of your options to gain more memory that you can use later on when you play your Battlestar. So, the card is phenomenal in this deck. Next up, we have 4 copies of bt6 Itmon. This card allows you to recycle your Bielstarmons, your Gundramons, your Magnet Kids if you're running it. I do have 1 copy of it here at the moment. I'll go over why here in a bit. I also can grab your Bielsamons or any other 7 Demon Lords that you might be running. Like, this is good in not just 3 Musketeers, but it's going to be good in Lilith. It can be good in future decks that feature 7 Demon Lords. Bielsamon, again, like I said, card is really good, just on play. Pitch a card to get one of them back is amazing. And it is an Itmon, so you can use it to go into your Bielsamon after getting it from your drop, or just if you have it in your hand. Next up, we do run 2 copies of the OG Itmon, just on deletion, middle of the top 3. Again, like I said, you want your stuff in the trash, so this card helps with that. Then, of course, we have 2 copies of Labramon. you need your extra draw power. You need more stuff in your drop. So again, makes sense. And as a level 3, it helps. Like the only time you wouldn't be actually even be swinging with in the first place anyway is if they have a Takumi. And even then, you can just use it to go into your champions. The last 2 rookies that we are running is 2 copies of Gazimon. Now, this card is really important in the current meta because it shuts down anything down the memory boost. It shuts down anything that gains memory outside of tamers. This card is super important. There's been plenty of games where I have this sitting out. They try to go for their memory boost and like, nope, nah, Gazi. So, card is very important in this current format. You'll just leave it there, sit on it. If they have to use the removal to get to him first, let them. You can always get it back later. So now moving on to the champions of the deck. We have 3 copies of Deputymon. Like, again, this is a 3 Musketeer deck, so this is pretty obvious. On play, reveal the top 4 and grab a 3 Musketeer and a 7 cost option. And then your turn, it can warp into a 3 Musketeer for a cost of 6. Card is phenomenal. It allows you to warp up into your Magna Kid and your Gundamon. You wouldn't want to warp up to Beelzemon or Beelstar, but you can do that with this. But yeah, card is obviously needed in the deck. Next up, we have 1 copy of Ginkakumon Promote. We do run Nailbone in the deck, which Nailbone can get this back, and this does have Rush. So you can bring it back, swing with it, and then you get off to the races. We also run 1 copy of Ogremon. On play, you can trash a card from your hand to destroy 1 level 4 or less that on their board. It does come up every once in a while. You can Zwart this back out. You can Nailbone this out. You wouldn't get the on play if you Nailbone it, but it's still a level 4 that you can use to go up into your level 5, which we'll talk about here in a second. And yeah, it's just overall a decent card. The last 3 champions that we run is 3 copies of Vilemon. Now, you maybe wonder why we run Vilemon over Devimon. Well, the reason is Vilemon costs 1 less to hard play than Devimon, and has 1k more power than Devimon, which is really important because a lot of the removal that's DP based is 5k or less. Like, for instance, Shoutmon, he hits 5ks. Balhuckmon, 5k. This being 6k gets around those cards. So yeah, and he's also 1 cheaper. The only downside is he costs 2 to hardcast, but most of the time we're either digivolving into it off of like a Labras or Impmons sometimes, or we're hardcasting it, or we're playing it off of Nailbone. So we're getting it out for free. Moving on to the ultimates, the level 5s. There is only 2 in the deck, and that is 2 copies of Rebellymon. Card is amazing. Like, card is freaking busted. 7 cost to hardcast. Can digivolve from black or purple for a cost of 3. And then when digivolving, you can trash 1 card from your hand to give it blocker and retaliation until the end of your opponent's next turn. Can really be good against shutting down Jessamon decks. Anything that wants to bring out this stuff and start swinging right away. This card can shut them down for a turn while setting up for your future turns. It also counts as a black while it's on your turn, so you can use it for things like Izzy and Joe. You can use it to go into a Gundramon. It's very resourceful, very flexible, and very important in the deck. Now, we're moving on to the Megas, the level 6s. And this is where we get into the meat of the deck. So, like I said, so right now I'm only running 3 BL Star Mons, mainly because I only own 3. If I had a 4th one, it would definitely be in here. But this card is amazing, even though only has 3 of. On play, you can grab one 7-cost option from your trash, and then play a 7-cost option in your hand for free. And also, for every 7-cost option and 3 musketeer in your drop, this card gets 1 cheaper to play. I had moments, even today, where I played 1 for 1 cost, for just 1, swung with something else, it hit a Gaia Force, so I could, and then I had another one in hand to play that one for free. The card is amazing. I wish I had the 4th one, but at the moment I don't. What I'm running it for the time being in place of the 4th BL Star Mon is actually 1 copy of Magna Kidmon. This card is decent at the moment. It's not super needed in the deck, even though it is a 3 musketeer. But it does allow you to be a little more aggressive with your plays, because it naturally has Security Tech +1. It also has, when digivolving, you can use one 7-cost option from your hand for free. If you don't, you can pop something with 4k or less, DP or less. And 11k base power is nothing to sneeze at either. Is decent, but it's not your best option. Your best option is to run for the BL Star Mons. The last 3 musketeer I'm running, obviously, is 3 copies of Gundramon. He's our big blocker in the deck that we can warp into off of Deputymon, or we can just digivolve into off of Rebelli. And when digivolving, you reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, play 1 7-cost option for free from among them if you are able to do so. There are moments where you won't be able to, such as if you don't have a purple and you only thing you reveal is, say, a Trump Sword. That kind of stings. But in the case that does happen, you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with play cost of 4 or less. Then everything else that gets revealed off of this goes to the trash. Again, we want as much stuff in our trash as possible, because it gives us more options to go with BL Starmon. It allows us to go into our last mega, which I'll talk about here in a minute. And, just using our trash as a secondary resource is always a good thing. So 3 of these, 11k power and a blocker, can stop quite a few things. The last card I'm running is 1 copy of Beelzemon. Mainly because I love this card. He's one of my personal favorites in the anime and in general for Digimon. And this card being able to just warp off a level 3 is amazing. It does not get enough love. So, 1 Beelzemon, when digivolving, pop a level 4 or less. So good. We do have a few level 7s in the deck, being 1 copy of Millenniumon. When digivolving, you can spin something to the bottom of the deck. So that's always really good removal. It gets around Craniumon, gets around anything that can't be destroyed by effects. So this gets around some really important stuff in the moment. And then on deletion, if it has any sources, you get to play it back out for free. Really good. The other 2 level 7s we're running is 2 copies of Omnimon Zwart. Because with this, we can go back into our Rebelliomons, we can go into our Ogremon, we can go into Labras for free. Well, not for free, it's for 6, but they come out as well when you go into this. So you can start swarming the board with a bunch of swings. And when attacking, you can bounce the level 6 under him back to your hand to pop a unsuspended Digimon with cost 12 or less. And that can help you recycle your BL Starmons, your Gundramons, your Beelzemon. Being able to recycle those things is really key in this deck. Moving on to the options of the deck, we do play a good number of them. First up, we have 2 copies of Trump Sword. This card can literally save you against a Gabumon deck. It actually happened today at Locals. They swung once with it, unsuspended, and they hit a Trump Sword. It's like, okay, yeah, that just saves me for the turn. So, really good card. Pops anything that's unsuspended. Yeah, just any Digimon with us unsuspended. Next up, we have 3 copies of Fly Bullet. Pretty similar to Trump Sword, except that it can't hit anything. It can only hit level 6 or less, but it can hit stuff that's already been suspended. So a fair trade there. It's also be used by any color, as long as you have a 3 Musketeer. So, really good card. Up next, we have 4 copies of Nailbone. This card is amazing for swarming the board. Can get back your Promote. Can get back your Ogremon. Your Impmons. You don't get the arm plays with this effect, but it's still good for swarming the board and all that stuff. Plus, the security effect, it allows you to just play a level 4 or less from your drop, which can really save you if you have a Vilemon in your drop and they're about to swing for game with, say, an Lagoonimon. So, really good card. Up next, we have 2 copies of Habit Bully Showering. This card has saved me multiple times as well. Kills all of the Digimon on your opponent's side of the board that have the lowest DP. So what happened today actually was they swung with the Ancient Garurumon while having a Gobblebond as well. They hit this. Popped the Ancient Garurumon, and that saved me. So, really good card. And activates insecurity as well. So that's always good. And the last 2 options we're running is 2 copies of Jwort Swarmer. Doesn't activate insecurity, which is fine because it just comes to your hand. But it pops everything on both sides of the board with a play cost of 7 or less. So that is really strong, especially against Rookie Rush, which most of the Bond decks right now are running the Rookie Rush variant. So this does help against those. So you may have counted that we only had 48 cards at the moment. That's because we have 2 Taemons in the deck, both being one-offs. We have 1 copy of Matt Ashita from BT2. Start your turn. If you're less than 3, you go to 3, and then on play, get a purple option or Digimon back from your hand. This card is actually pretty decent in this deck, just for the fact that it is a memory tamer. That alone, making sure you're starting at 3 every turn, is amazing. The other card we're running for Tamers is 1 copy of Izzy and Joe. Start your turn. If your opponent has 2 or more Digimon, gain 2 memory. That's the main thing we're using this card for, is gaining the 2 memory. Can really make your opponent think, okay, do I want them to give the extra 2 memory from this? But on top of that, during your opponent's turn, when one of your black Digimon is destroyed, like say your Gundramon, or your Rebelli, or your Deputy, you can tap this card to draw 1. And that extra draw actually comes in handy every once in a while. But again, the main reason we're using this is for the extra 2 memory. So, really good card in this format, just in general. So, that's the deck, guys. That is what we have at the moment. Like I said, there are going to be some changes. Like, for example, once I get the 4th BL Starmon, this will be coming out. The Pagu will be switching to either the Sunamon or a BT2 Sunamon. I do want to find room for a 4th Deputy, but space is a little bit tight. Just a little bit. But yeah, so that's the deck, guys. Until next time, this has been DanXKing1711, signing off. And that's the video, guys. Until next time, this has been DanXKing1711, signing off. Before I go, though, a few little things. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button. And feel free to subscribe if you really want to. It costs you guys nothing, and lets you guys know when I post new videos, whether it be the deck profile, be it matches that I have planned coming up, hopefully soon. Until next time, guys, like I said, signing off.